video, we will show how to use rprogramming to display some descriptive statistics. So when you start to do data analysis, usually the first step may be to describe the distribution of each variable numerically, or we say show some measures of central tendency, variability, and distribution shape for continuous variables. So these jobs are called descriptive statistics. And R provides availability of methods designed to explore descriptive statistics. Some functions like summary comes with the base R installation, and some come from manually installed packages, which you later. So for example, you can use summary. This data frames variable called myvars can show the maximum, minimum, and quartiles and mean values. And you can also combine some functions, user-written functions, with sapply to show the functions which includes some statistics for each element in R, then combined with some scalar value or matrix value in the result. So for example, this is a function user-written called mystatus, which will return mean value and how many observations and standard deviation and skewness and quartiles. So can combine sapply with this function and to run on these variables of the data frame. And one package called HMISC has a describer function which will show quartiles, values, means, and 5 highest and lowest values. So different functions may come with the same common results like mean and median, but some functions has its own results for the descriptive statistics. I can see this function called, this package is statistics. Has a function called stat.dsc, means statistics describe. So the function just apply on these variables of this data frame, then including some common descriptive statistics like minimum, maximum, range, and in addition, 95% confidence interval for the mean variance and the standard deviation will also be shown, and p-value as well. Another package is psych package has also a describe function. If you apply this function to these variables, we'll get the median, absolute deviation, change mean, and the minimum, maximum, and the range, and the skew, quartiles, and the standard error of the mean. So sometimes if you want to show descriptive statistics by each group, so you can use a function called by first. By, so combined with the function which you want to apply, then with this data frame and with specified index. Index is a factor variable, a list of factors, can be more than one variable here. So each group based on these variables, a variable of variables, will be done with these functions. And one big package called dplyr is a the framework from a bigger one called tidyverse. So this is a new framework in R called tidyverse, and they use the pipeline called Zen in pronunciation, which means the first function's result will be the input as a second functions, and so on. So in pipelines, many functions can be connected together with only one line, for example. So, and the result is a tuple, is a kind of data frames which conforms with the tidyverse framework. So in this package, for example, the summarize and summarize all can be used to calculate many statistics and with the group by function together. So next we will show all these applications in RStudio. So first, we will use a data frame called mtcar, which comes with R. Sorry. Let's see if we set so you can show mtcar is a data set with different cars and a range of series of variables for MPG cylinder display, for example, displacement. And if you set 3 variables in a list, then use summary mtcars of these variables. So these variables stays in a column, and the rows, each row represents different statistics, for example, minimum, first quantile, and the median, mean, maximum value, and so on. And next we set mtcars carb variable as a factor variable. Then show the summary of this factor variable. So the result of a factor variable using summary function is actually like a table. So for the different values of carb, and these are counts of different values for this variable. And next, descriptive statistics using sapply. So we know in R, apply function is quite common. Apply is a function combined with other function would be run on the column or rows of matrix. But sapply used to data frames, and the result is a type of scalar object like a matrix, vector, and so on. And sapply will apply on each element of the data frame and get the result. Usually use sum and length. So the result is scalar value. So in this function, we'll create a user-written function called mystatus. Inside, we'll get mean, length, standard deviation, and skewness quartiles. These functions which we are interested in. Then similarly can set 3 variables, then use sapply on these 3 variables in this data frame, mtcars. Then with the function mystatus we have created. So you can see the result is also like a data frame type mpg, hp, wt in columns for these 3 variables, and the rows are different statistics we have created in the user-written function. Next, we load a package called HMISC. You have to install it if you have not installed it yet. Then same to run describe on, but this time this describe is from HMICC function package, right? Because it's the latest loaded library in R. And describe of these variables of this data frame. You can see this time describe the results different form as before. So 3 variables, 32 observations. For each variable, there are small section in the results with the observations and the missing values, distinct values here. Then you can check help, describe if you want to know details of this function. Then we load a package called pastex. So you can use the function stat.dsc to these variables. These are 3 columns for 3 variables and quite a lot statistics from this function. For example, standard error of the mean and confidence interval of the mean at 0.95 confidence level, and the standard deviation, and the coefficient of variance. There are quite a lot information from this function. And next library we'll load is psych. Then psych package also has a describe function. So describe these variables. Then psych functions describe a function will see, for example, trim the mean, median, trim the median, and the range, and the skew and the kurtosis, and the mean absolute distance, MAD. So next you can use the by function to show descriptive statistics on each group. So first we set a user return function which use the sapply and for this function. So these statistics we will use in the by function. So by this subset of a data frame with 3 variables, then by this variable called AM, then apply a series of functions from this user return function. So the result quite clear. For the mtcars variable AM equals 0, because this variable is by apply with respect to different values of this variable with 0. These 3 variables statistics. And next section show mtcars AM value is 1. Also show the different statistics for these 3 variables. You can also using by for more than 2 values. So here we will add a list here. So we set a transmission at is AM and engine is VS. And we will show, because we set a 2 name here, so the result will also show these 2 names. So the result for the transmission 0, engine 0, so transmission actually is AM, engine actually is VS. But here we show the form a little better. So transmission 0, engine 0, a table of statistics. Next, transmission 1, engine 0, also statistics for 3 variables, and so on. It's quite clear for combination of 2 variables with all the statistics. So the last function we will show comes from dplyr package. So first we have to load dplyr. Of course, you have to install this package first and load a package called car data. So next use pipelines. So salary is a data frame, from car data. So salary, we will show salary first. Salary is a data frame, comes from car data. Lots of observations, salary, rank, discipline, and YRS since PhD, YRS years since service, and salary. So salary passed to summarize function from dplyr. Then in the summarize function, we define 3 functions called median, minimum, and maximum. Then median, minimum, maximum, inside is a variable salary. So don't be confused. This first salary is a data frame. And this salary means the variable salary of this data frame. So inside the summarize function, this summarize function comes with dplyr package. So inside the summary function, we do not need to write salary's data frame because salary's data frame has passed to this summarize function. So we just refer to this variable is okay. So we run. So the result is median, minimum, maximum value of the salary from this data frame. The result is quite simple. Next example is salary also passed first to the group by function. This function also comes from dplyr. So if we use a pipeline, so all the function comes from dplyr, right? So group by these 2 variables. Of course, these 2 variables comes from this data frame. So rank, sex from this data frame. Then after group by these 2 variables with all the combination by subgroup, then apply a summarize function which includes 4 different statistics. The length means the observation of the salary, the median, minimum, maximum of salary. So it is so quite understandable. For the groups, for each group, the result, for example, because we learned statistics based on variable, rank, and sex, right? So each row, the first 2 columns represent different rank and sex. Then next 4 columns represent the statistics we want to see. Then we can also pass, the last example is pass salaries data frame to the group by first, same as before with rank and sex. Then passed to a function called select. So select a function in the dplyr means we select only these 2 variables which we want to learn the function. Then next, also passed to the summarize all, a function with the mean. So which means mean for these 2 variables. Summarize all means we will do summarize function to all variables selected. So the result is also quite clear. For each row represent each different groups, right? So the first 2 columns represent different groups with respect to rank and sex, and the next two columns represent 2 variables from the select, and the result is the function from summarize all mean. So which means this rank professor with a female professor has a mean value for this variable. And next is for the mean value for this variable, right? If you want, you can also go to this link to download the source files for the statistics using R, this playlist. And we will upload more videos, and all the videos source files can be found from this link. Thanks for watching.